Wimbledon champion of 2015, Novak Djokovic.
Djokovic has won the title on 3 occasions, but he's looked a shadow of his former self over the last 12 months.
To have seen the year that Djokovic has had, from where he was when he won that French Open title at Roland Garros 13 months ago, is extraordinary, and I don't think one that anybody foresaw.
That was the one he really wanted to win to complete his set of Grand Slam titles, and I think there was just a little bit of a letdown after that, from which he's never really recovered.
A surprise third-round defeat against Sam Querrey at Wimbledon last year appeared to trigger his dip in fortunes. Since then, he's won only 2 titles and dropped to number 4 in the world.
The evidence suggests that he is not going to win the title. I would never completely write him off, because I think he has the ability to switch back into gear fairly quickly, but his confidence levels are much lower. He's not somebody I would discount, but he would not be among my list of absolute favourites.
Whatever else happens in his career now, he is one of the all-time greats of the game. If the confidence comes back, then we know he's got all the physical gifts you could possibly want. When he was at his best, he's so difficult to beat, and if he gets back to that sort of level, then you wouldn't be able to rule him out.
The Serb's loss of form has been to the advantage of another of the game's greats. Arguably the story of the year so far took place in January, as Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal turned back time at the Australian Open, where Federer collected his 18th Grand Slam title.
That's the greatest tennis anyone's ever played. It could be years before anyone reaches that level again. I mean, he's socking his backhand like a maniac. He's hitting winners in all directions on his backhand side.
I was sitting there and thinking, some of the tennis he's playing is better than I've ever seen him play before. He was hitting these extraordinary half-volley drives from the baseline, and you're thinking, I don't remember him doing that when he was at his best, when he was winning Wimbledon every year.
7 of Federer's major wins have come at the All-England club. He had time out prior to his triumph in Melbourne and took another sabbatical, missing the clay court swing before a successful return to grass.
Winning in Halle last week, he's definitely going to feel good about his chances. He's got such history here. The confidence that he has on a grass court, it's going to take a hell of a performance to beat him.
You know, he's 35. I mean, what he did was remarkable. Can he do it again? There'll be a lot of people who will hope that he can. I have my doubts.
The last thing I'm going to do is stand in front of you now and say Roger Federer cannot win Wimbledon. Of course he can.
Federer's great rival, Rafa Nadal, has also enjoyed a renaissance in 2017. Imperious at Roland Garros, where he collected the French Open trophy for an unprecedented 10th time, he's now bidding for his 5th title of the year.
If Rafa is able to play without pain, he can win Wimbledon absolutely, without a doubt. He's taking the ball earlier than he's ever done. He's rushing people. He's playing a very different game. He's playing better than he ever has, in my opinion. But can he physically sustain the different and lower body position you need on the grass?
We just don't know. If those knees are okay, then he's playing such extraordinary tennis, and he's managed to win the French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back in the past. I absolutely wouldn't discount him, but I think we're going to know fairly quickly whether Nadal is in that list of genuine contenders or not.
His form on grass will certainly have to improve. Nadal's last match at the Championships ended in a notable defeat to Dustin Brown in 2015. The bottom line is that the Spaniard hasn't been past the 4th round since 2011.
Rafa Nadal's last 4 Wimbledon campaigns, he's lost to people outside the top 100, which is extraordinary when you consider he's won 2 Wimbledons.
He's got the game to do it. We've seen that. He's done it twice before, 2008, 2010. And one of the interesting things there is that 2008 and 2010, he won the French Open without losing a set. This year, he won the French Open without losing a set. Might it be a 3rd Wimbledon?
If he can get through the first few rounds, then that means that he's feeling good. And once Rafa gets to the 2nd week, then Rafa's very hard to stop.
Like Djokovic, Andy Murray's performance levels in 2017 haven't matched their previous heights. And troubled by a hip injury, he lost in the first round at Queen's recently.
There's no doubt that Murray's had a difficult year. He had such an incredible finish to 2016, getting to world #1 and winning his last 5 events. But I think the physical exertion has probably cost him this year.
However, Murray will, as usual, enjoy massive home support, and he's the #1 seed.
I would say Andy, as the defending champion, deserves to be a very slight favourite.
His record on grass the last 2-3 years has been phenomenal. He's got everything. He's got great movement. He's so lightning fast around the court. And Andy Murray's got so many different shots in his locker that I think his game is just too much for most people on grass.
The Scot hasn't contested a Grand Slam final since his victory last July, though there were signs of recovery on the clay in Paris earlier this month, where he reached the semi-finals.
I always felt ahead of Roland Garros. I didn't think he could ever win the title there, but he needed time on the match court. He needed wins under his belt. But now, 18 hours I think I calculated on the match court at Roland Garros, grass, a natural surface for him. I think he's got to be in very, very good shape and absolutely one of the favourites.
I think there were signs at the French Open that he was finding his mojo again. Still wasn't quite there in the semi-final against Dan Wawrinka, but some of the old flow is coming back to his game. Some of the confidence is coming back, and he loves grass. And I think it's going to be either Roger Federer or Andy Murray, and my money would be on Andy Murray.
Aside from the big four, the men's singles draw contains a number of other high-quality performers. Of the younger talent, Nick Kyrgios will hope to become the first Australian champion for 15 years.
Kyrgios, I think, is the outstanding player of his generation, and he's got a wonderful game for grass. You do wonder about him physically. He had his problems coming into Wimbledon. I think he may well win Wimbledon one day. I don't think it will be this year.
And then you've got Stan Wawrinka, who people forget if he were to win Wimbledon, he'd be only the 9th man ever to do a career Grand Slam.
Stan won 1 match on grass last year. He's brought in Paul Annacone to try and tweak his approach. Mentally, he needs to discover some sort of self-belief on the surface.
Milos Raonic was in fantastic form last year, got all the way to the final, but has been held back by injuries again this year. He doesn't feel like he's got a lot of momentum going. So I think for those reasons, I definitely consider them all outsiders.
Well, here's the draw for the top players. Andy Murray faces lucky loser Alex Bublik from Kazakhstan, while #2 seed Djokovic takes on Martin Klizan. Roger Federer meets Alexander Dolgopolov. John Millman of Australia lies in wait for Rafael Nadal.